Hi, it's Panda Movies here. Today I'm going to explain the horror movie called Harpoon. Warning, there are spoilers ahead. Enjoy the video. Jonah is a young man who has had a lot of bad luck and money problems. He's friends with Richard, who is wealthy but has a lot of emotional ups and downs. One day things take a really bad turn when Richard suddenly attacks Jonah. Richard thinks Jonah has been dating Sasha, who is Richard's girlfriend. Sasha shows up and manages to stop Richard from hurting Jonah. She explains that the messages Richard found were actually about buying a special underwater gun as a birthday gift for him. Richard feels really bad about attacking Jonah and wants to make things right. He invites Jonah and Sasha to join him on his yacht for a day trip. They hope to put the fight behind them and have a peaceful day on the water. As they sail on the yacht, they start to relax and enjoy the calm moment. But then, Richard figures out the truth. Sasha and Jonah have actually been in a romantic relationship. Richard's anger and feeling of being betrayed come back, and he points the underwater gun he got as a gift from them at Jonah, ready to get back at him. But here's the twist. Sasha decides to take matters into her own hands. She hits Richard from behind. Things get chaotic as all three of them start fighting. During the struggle, Jonah accidentally gets hurt by the underwater gun, and they also damage the ship's radio, so they can't call for help. In the middle of all this chaos, Jonah manages to knock out Richard, leaving him unconscious. Jonah comes up with a risky plan. He and Sasha secretly push Richard off the boat, hoping to make it look like an accident. To their surprise, Richard wakes up as soon as he hits the cold water. Then an unexpected twist happens. Richard reveals that he has the keys to the yacht hidden in his pocket. He agrees to come back on the boat, but only if Jonah and Sasha throw away all the things they could use to harm him. Back on the yacht, things get really tense. Richard wants to start the boat's engine and get out of this scary situation, but it won't start, no matter how hard he tries. The peaceful sea around them is very different from the turmoil among the three of them. As their argument gets more and more intense, Sasha, her voice shaking with anger, drops a bombshell. She tells Jonah and Richard about a dark secret from a year ago. Richard had an affair that ended in a terrible way, with a woman dying. It seems like Richard might have had something to do with her death, even though he denies it. This revelation makes things even more tense and scary. Jonah and Sasha start to wonder if they've been stuck on a boat with a murderer. The three discover they have very few supplies. Sasha, a nurse, explains that they will die in 7 days from dehydration without water. As the days pass, Jonah's hand injury becomes severely infected. Sasha and Richard botch an attempt to amputate the arm, only managing to cut his bicep before stopping. The trio, desperately hungry and thirsty, agree that one of them must be cannibalized for the others to survive. Richard argues it should be Jonah, since he will die from his infection anyway. Jonah retorts that he knows Richard has continued having affairs despite his promises to Sasha. Richard angrily reveals that Jonah was the one who murdered the pregnant girl, and Jonah confesses that he committed the murder to keep the three of them together. In a terrible situation, the three of them decide to draw straws to choose who will have to die. Sasha picks the shortest straw, and everyone gets really scared. But Sasha is too afraid to hurt herself. As desperation takes over, they decide to draw straws again to pick who will have to kill Sasha. This time, Jonah gets the shortest straw. The air is really tense as Jonah, feeling terrible about having to do this, gets ready to hurt Sasha. But then, something shocking happens. Jonah doesn't hurt Sasha. Instead, he attacks Richard with a broken bottle and kills him. It's really brutal and scary. As Richard lies dead, Sasha watches in horror. Jonah, now covered in Richard's blood, looks at Sasha with a creepy mix of pride and madness. After this horrifying moment, Jonah starts telling Sasha some shocking things. He reveals that when they threw their weapons overboard like Richard told them to, he secretly messed with the yacht's fuse box. He took out a fuse that made the boat stop working. He also hid some food, so they wouldn't starve. Jonah says he did all this to make their terrible act look like it was for survival, not just murder. He thinks they can say they killed Richard to save themselves. Jonah is really desperate and tries to convince Sasha to run away with him. He sounds scary, but Sasha is so scared for her own life that she agrees. It's really sad that she has to make this choice just to survive. Jonah puts the fuse back on and the yacht works again. They're all stuck together, haunted by what they've done. In a troubling turn of events, Jonah is standing at the back of the ship, and there's a bit of calm compared to the stormy feelings among the three of them. But then, things get really bad when Sasha suddenly gets super angry. Sasha is so furious that she hits Jonah really hard, and he falls off the ship. The water is churning, and Jonah gets pulled into the boat's propellers. It's really gruesome, and he gets torn into pieces. Sasha is feeling really angry and sad. She goes to the front of the ship and tries to steer it, but when she makes it go faster, she doesn't know how powerful it is. The ship suddenly speeds up a lot, and Sasha can't hold on. Because of this, Sasha gets thrown off the ship. She's yelling and upset, but the ship just keeps going, leaving her behind. She's stuck all alone in the big, unfriendly ocean.